Hello students, someone has asked me about complex sentences. So here a very short video I'm making on it. Complex sentence is a sentence that has at least one independent clause and at least one dependent clause, which is very important, right? One independent and one dependent clause. So complex sentence becomes with two clause, right? Independent and at least one dependent clause. The clauses are connected by subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. Subordinating conjunctions means that is uh, because, right? uh, as, right? And relative pronoun WH words, right? I have written you why because. So that's a that's a why, right? So why is relative pronoun. So here example, before the curtain rose, Nick came out and took a bow, right? Although it was raining, I went out. How do so these are conjunctions. Before the curtain rose, that's the dependent clause. Nick came out and took a bow, that is independent clause. Although is conjunction. It was raining, right? That is dependent. I went out, independent. Okay. Now, how to identify a complex sentence? For identification, look for subordinating conjunctions like. What are subordinating conjunctions like? Because, since, after, although, when, if, while, right? And look for pronouns like who, which, that. Look for relative pronoun or adverb pronouns, right? So these are the things, these are the words actually. If it comes between two clauses, so that sentence is called complex sentence. Okay. Now, how to construct a complex sentence? Combine an independent clause with one or more dependent clause. Means one independent clause in complex sentence, one independent clause is a must, right? And then it may be more than two dependent clause, but one independent is must. Okay. Combine an independent clause with one or more dependent clause. Use subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun to connect the clause. Naturally, we need to have uh, some one word for connecting two clauses, right? So clause 1, clause 2, clause 1 is independent, clause 2 is dependent, and then for joining this we need to have any conjunction, right? Right? Any conjunction or relative pronoun. Now, parts of complex sentence: independent clause, a statement that can, what is called independent clause. So that is a statement that can stand alone, right? Can stand alone, as known as complete, and then delivers a complete thought, is called independent clause. And dependent clause, a clause that cannot stand alone and relies on the independent clause for meaning, is called dependent clause. Then subordinating conjunction, a word that connects an independent clause with a dependent clause. So that word is called subordinating conjunction, right? So this is very important. Now a complex sentence is a sentence which one independent we have already discussed. Now let us see some examples of complex sentences. So this is although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk, right? So although is conjunction, it was raining is dependent clause, and independent clause, they decided to go for a walk, right? Now next is she studied she studied hard because she wanted to S the exam, right? So now she wanted to S the exam is independent. She studied hard. Why? So this is conjunction and this is dependent clause. Similarly, next is after the movie ended. So what happened? So after is conjunction, the movie ended is it is dependent clause, right? They went out for ice cream. Okay. Now since he arrived early, dependent, he had time to relax. He had time to relax is independent. Even though it was late, right? He continued working on the project is independent clause, right? So these are the independent clause. Because he was late, again he would be docked a day's pay, right? While I am a passionate basketball fan, I prefer football, right? These are different examples. First is because he was late, again that is dependent clause, so that he would this independent clause. Then next example, why I'm passionate football player, while I'm passionate football player, I prefer football, independent clause. Although she was considered smart, dependent clause. Then she failed all her exams, that is independent clause. Whenever it rains, dependent clause. I like to wear my blue coat, independent clause. So these are the different examples, right? And I think you must have got little idea. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. God bless you.